After Paolo Banchero went down with an injury, many people assumed the Orlando Magic would quickly fall in the Eastern Conference standings, but that couldn't be further from the case, where the Magic right now have the third best record in the East. And one of the biggest factors of this team's success has been the offensive play of Franz Wagner. Now, standing at 6'10 with a 7-foot wingspan, Franz has one of the most versatile and unique set of physical tools across the NBA, where on top of that size and length, Franz also has really good speed with the ball, being able to press the turbo button and dust defenders who step out and pressure him from beyond the three. We'll see the defense again here stepping out and pressuring him as soon as he crosses half court, and watch him first attack hard to his right, to then slam the brakes with a crossover. And out 40 feet from the basket, Franz is going to throw the ball through this gap and dart all the way to the rim for the slam. And like you just saw, along with Wagner's quickness off the dribble, he can also cover a ton of distance with the ball. The Thunder here on the break build up a wall with 3 defenders, but with just one step below the 3, Franz is just going to explode to his right, pick up through this gap, and use those long strides to extend all the way to the rim. When attacking downhill, Wagner's strength and stability also plays a major factor, because most tall and lengthy slashers normally lack the sturdiness to absorb contact in the paint, especially prospects in their early 20s. But that's certainly not the case for Franz, where he can both absorb bumps from the defense as well as initiate contact himself. And some of these finishes may not be super graceful, but it's still a great sign that Franz is seeking out contact at the rim. The balance on this play is pretty impressive, where Franz is first going to spin over his left shoulder and attack to his right, to then throw his inside shoulder into Oubre. But like any good vet defender, Kelly anticipates that contact and pulls the chair. But with his momentum heavily being pulled across the paint, Wagner still has the balance to put up this soft push shot. So Franz being able to both cover a ton of ground with the ball, while also keeping himself on balance, opens the door for him to use a variety of pickups and strides to slice the basket, being able to gather and use those long steps to extend to the rim. We'll see him here going at Brandon Miller in semi-transition, and Wagner is going to go between and skip his feet up, selling the blow-by to his right. And when Miller slides to cut him off, Wagner is going to pick up and step past him with this right-left Euro step. He's going to make a similar move here, where Franz first attacks hard to his left, to then pick up and step across with this left-right Euro. And he sinks this tough runner leaning across the paint.
Through the middle, high floater, a beauty.
Another big improvement I've seen from Franz this season is his ball handling, where he's great at using his body to protect the ball against shoulder defenders, while also improving his footwork to initiate blow-bys. The scissor step has been one of his go-to moves, where Franz pounds the ball and kicks his opposite foot forward, to then plant and push off that foot, catapulting himself to the basket.
From the three-point line, you gotta be willing to step into it with confidence.
We'll see him use the exact same move here, where he again pounds the ball, brings that opposite foot forward, and explodes downhill. And Franz has also been layering this move with different counters. Watch him here sell the blow-by dipping his shoulders and aggressively planting his right foot. And when he feels the defense leaning, Wagner's going to get to this crossover back to his left, to then again push himself downhill. This is also a pretty tricky move right here, where Franz is going to go between and bring his right foot forward, selling the step back, which lifts the defense up, giving him the attacking angle back to his right. And then all that ball handling and footwork carries right over to Wagner's scoring in transition, where so far this year, he's shooting just under 70% on all his shots on the break. Obviously, when playing with a head of steam, Wagner's footwork and ability to cover ground becomes an even bigger factor, where he can simply pick up and use those long strides to maneuver around the defense. But I've been even more impressed with his ball control in the open court, where he can string combinations together while keeping himself on balance. We'll see him here working off this ball screen at half court. And as Anthony Davis steps up, notice how Franz is going to slightly slow down and lift up his level, to then slide the ball through and blow past 80's top foot. So as an off-the-dribble slasher and scorer, Wagner pretty much checks all the boxes. Physically, he's got elite length, speed, and balance, while also having crafty footwork when playing in traffic. Plus, he's also added some decent depth and creativity to his game off the dribble. But probably Franz's biggest improvement this year is going to be his patience and control in the lane. Wagner this year has been very comfortable playing off 2 feet in the lane, which both helps him limit his turnovers while also opening up scoring options. Being able to both pick up and pivot into buckets, plus having the option to gather and use those strides to step and bump his way into finishes. And that improved control in the paint has also opened up Wagner's passing game, where his downhill scoring calmly forces the defense to collapse, opening up easy passing reads.
Crossing over into the lane, now into the corner, Blacks lines it up.
Now overall, I wouldn't say Wagner is a super advanced playmaker. He doesn't manipulate the defense like Trae Young or Luka, and there are times he struggles reading the entire court. But I still think Franz is a solid decision maker, and he's got a good enough feel to read the help and punish them for aggressive shifts. And that's all he really needs with the amount of on-ball scoring he already has. And Franz is also starting to get good at using his pace to leverage that passing, which opens up more driving lanes. We'll see him here turn the corner off the screen to his right. And from here, it's just him and the roller playing 2-on-1 against his drop big. And notice how Franz is going to freeze him by slightly slowing down, giving himself a window to pick up and finish. We can see the same thing here, where Wagner's passing threat forces Miles Turner to stay attached to the ball, giving him another runway to the basket. And that pace also carries over to Wagner's overall navigation and pick and roll, where he's now comfortable slowing down, putting his man in jail, to then re-attack towards the basket. One of Orlando's go-to sets has been the screen and rescreen action, where Wagner first comes off the pick and puts his man in jail, and instead of rolling all the way towards the basket, the screener is going to set another pick on the big defending and drop.
From Goga Batadze, takes it all the way in.
Now the only real sore spot in Wagner's offensive game is his 3-point shooting, where so far this year he's shooting under 33% on all his outside looks. And what's pretty interesting about Wagner's shooting numbers is that there isn't a big difference when comparing his percentages from off the dribble to off the catch. And that hints that there's most likely something mechanically off with Wagner's shot. When slowing down and dissecting his form, there's one big red flag that jumps out. And that's this hitch Wagner has from his pocket to set point, where instead of getting the ball up in one smooth motion, he instead extends the ball away from his body to then bring it back to his shoulders before he releases. Now, shooting forms overall aren't a one-size-fits-all. Over the years, we've seen many unorthodox shooters put up some pretty impressive numbers, but in general, the best shooters tend to limit the amount of motion they have into their shot, because that simply gives them more room for error, especially the longer their shots are. But besides that little hitch Franz has, I think the rest of his mechanics are pretty good. He's got clean footwork, plus his hand placement on the ball is solid. And while his overall numbers do have some room for improvement, he's still a more than capable shot maker, and the defense has to at least step up and respect him, which then opens up more of his downhill scoring and playmaking. So at just age 23, Franz Wagner is already showing that he's got enough juice in his game to be an all-star. And I think once he figures out his outside shooting, he could quickly go beyond that. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments who the kid should break down next. The kid's here.